This set looks awesome, but something just doesn't feel right yet. Ah, much better. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Keep the Peace. I'm Sakota, and we're gonna have another March 2024 Ninjago set review here today. This time it's for the big one. It's set number 71813, the Wolf Mask Shadow Dojo. We got this set along with the others sent to us by the LEGO Ambassador Network, so big thank you. But I want to give you my honest opinions about this set. This set has 1,190 pieces. It goes for $104.99 in pounds or $119.99 in dollars or euros. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the review. Here's everything we get in this set. We of course have the big Shadow Dojo as the main build. On the very top here we of course have the Blood Moon. In the middle we have the Gong of Shattering, and the dojo is comprised of this main structure in the middle here of course, and these two side platforms with some little side builds. Of course we also have this little fighting arena here in the front. This set also has a really good selection of minifigures with climber suits for Lloyd, Nia, Zane, and Kai. And we also get a lot of the important villains, which are Lord Raz, Cinder, Jordana, and one Wolf Mask Claw Warrior. Let's look at the minifigures in this set first, starting with the ninja. We of course have from left to right Lloyd, Nia, Zane, and Kai in their climber suits. All of these suits have super detailed printing. These new dual molded armor pieces, which are dual molded in gold and the color of the ninja's arms, which is usually a darker color. I really like the gunmetal one for Nia here personally. The hoods of these ninja are the 2023 Dragons Rising ones, which I'm sadly not the biggest fan of because of how flat they are. They also use the 2023 heads on these minifigures. On the back here we can of course see all the printed detail that continues on the back of the torso, and you can add 2 katanas to this new armor piece. Here's also a look at how all of these ninja look without some of their accessories. You get a lot better look at the printing here, which is super detailed, as well as the other face prints. These suits all have nice golden ropes on them. They have these little golden dragon emblems in the front. They have some really nice patterning with some kind of texture. And on the back they have this little tag with the first letter of their name, and the ropes continue here of course. While this set does not come with any hair pieces for the ninja, I did want to show you how these look with them, and I really like this combo a lot. Sadly for Zane, we of course see his alternate face on the back here, and Nia's hairpiece doesn't really fit perfectly, so you have to move the head up a little bit, but the general look of this is really nice. Here's also how they look with the headband version of their hair pieces. Nia's does fit here, and I really like this look as well. We also get a bunch of accessories for our ninja. All of these get 1 golden katana each. You can put them in their back of course, and they also all get one of these new climbing hook pieces with the dragon head design. On the villain side we have from left to right Lord Raz, Cinder, Jordana, and 1 Wolf Mask Claw Warrior. All of these were already in the January set wave. Lord Raz has this printed animal head of course, and this purple stone warrior armor. He wears an ornate purple and black robe with some shiny blue armor pieces. Jordana and Cinder wear the same outfit. It has the words Wolf Moon on the torso printed on. They also have the sand blue fur collar, and Cinder of course has his swooshy hair and his face printed on a trans black head. Jordana gets her normal face and the dark red hairpiece. The Wolf Mask Warrior we are very familiar with by now. These Wolf Mask Warriors have this dual molded wolf mask piece. This one gets the armor piece, and he has the word wolf on his torso of course. They all also have printing on the back. Raz's features his name in jargon, and the Wolf Mask Warrior has the wolf symbol. With some of these gear pieces removed, we get a better look at all that printing here, including the alternate faces of the minifigures, as well as the face of the Wolf Mask Claw Warrior. You can also see a better look of the back of these minifigures with the other side of the Wolf Mask Warrior's face. All of these villains of course also get a bunch of accessories, like the claws for the Wolf Mask Warrior, a curved sword with an extension on the hilt for Jordana, Cinder gets 2 weapons. He gets this brick built sword and this new dual molded sword piece, which is dual molded in trans red and gunmetal with some scratches on the blade. It's a really nice piece. And Roz, of course, gets a big hammer with a spike on the back. There are a lot more different minifigure weapons spread throughout the dojo, which I'll of course point out whenever we get there. Before we look at the dojo itself, we'll look at this little fighting arena. This is a completely separate build that is not connected to the main structure at all. It's basically this square base plate with some nice magenta patterning on it. There's a whole bunch of jumpers, so you can easily place minifigures on there if you want to, and if you don't want to use the little function here. But that's not the only thing you can do. Around the arena we have these little spikes. These tie nicely into the design of the rest of the dojo and make fighting in this arena even more dangerous. And on the sides we have these little stone structures with these transparent bars attached. If you look at them a bit closer, you can see that these have a nice sticker here with the wolf symbol and the letters V and S in Ninjago, so I assume that stands for versus. And here on the back they have a mixel socket with a ball joint that connects to that transparent bar, so we can move this bar around on that ball joint. So what we can do here is we bend these down in the middle to the arena, and we have these studs here in the front where we can place our 2 fighters. For example, I'm choosing Kai and Cinder. And then we can move these bars here on the back and we can reenact little fight scenes on here, which is really fun. Sadly, these bars don't go all the way to the ground, so we always have our fighters kind of floating, but we can try to knock off our enemy. I do also really like how these little fights look in a close-up, so I actually wanted to record like a little fight like this where you don't see the actual bars that much. It is time to look at the Shadow Dojo itself. Here's an overall look at the full structure. The build in a way is like this big base plate built on top of these 2 pillars. One of them looks like a tree, the other one more of a rock structure. The base plate is built with technic frames, so you basically connect it here with some long axles that go in from the side. In front, of course, we have the wolf head with these little 2 balcony areas on the sides, and on top we have the actual building part with the big door here in the center. On top of that, there's of course all these little roof areas, and at the very top we have the really nice looking blood moon. There are also these ropes connecting these side platforms to the main build. This build is really sturdy actually. I was quite surprised about that. I can pick up just this whole thing without the side parts falling off or anything, and then we can turn it around so we can get a look at the full interior here. We have some interior here on the base plate, top of these 2 pillars. There isn't really much behind that roof area. A lot of people complained that this set is very flat, so I wanted to give you a look at how this set looks all the way from the side, and yeah, the actual building part is quite flat. The base plate underneath that building part does have a lot of space though, where you can put minifigures and stuff like that, but we just don't have a side wall or anything for the building. We'll work our way from the bottom to the top of the dojo, so I'll start by looking at this side platform over here. On the left we have this little weapon stand with some spears here in the middle and some small double blades here on the sides as little decorations. We can use these in the fighting arena, for example. Behind it there's a little tree with dark blue and magenta leaves, and this area is connected to the overall structure with one of these SCCBS pieces. And here we have one of these round jumper tiles. These are all over the set, and these are places where you can just easily put your minifigures, which is really nice for play. Here in the center of the dojo we of course have the Gong of Shattering. It's built with one of these spinner crown pieces and has this printed minifigure shield piece in the middle we've already seen in some of the January sets. This has a really cool face design as well as the 3 letters GOS for Gong of Shattering. The whole construction is connected with these chains to the wolf head in the middle, so you can just easily take this whole thing off. Without the gong, we can see more of this middle part. We can see the 2 pillars holding up the dojo with the tree on one side and this more rock structure looking one on the other. There are 2 of these banners with a wolf symbol on it and the letters S and D, I assume for Shadow Dojo. They are of course stickers, and there are some little spikes on the bottom of these. In this middle area we have some roots from the tree side, which I think look really nice, and we have these little spikes and a little bone in the middle, and you'll see why in a little bit. The tree build is really nicely shaped with a lot of rounded like wedge pieces. It has a really nice look to it. It looks very organic. On the back of the tree we have this little target practice thingy, and of course we have the roots on the bottom here. For the rock structure we have 2 of these rock spikes going out of here. These look really cool and they have some stickers on them spelling out Shadow Dojo. So if you weren't sure where you are, this is how you know. Here on the inside of the stone pillar we have these rock pieces, and you can open this one up, revealing that we've got another one of these dual molded sword pieces here in the middle, like the one Cinder has. On the back of the rock structure we have some nice color variation and different textures to pull off that rock look, but we also have these little steps all around here leading to the first floor. We can of course pose some minifigures on there and maybe have a little fight on these stairs with them. The second side platform is this octagonal platform with this nice curved tree that uses one of these horn pieces and these tail pieces here with dark blue and magenta leaves, and we can adjust these a little bit. Here in the front we have some chains, and in classic Ninjago fashion, whenever there's a cage or something like that, we of course have to put Lloyd in it. So he can be chained to the tree. I think this looks quite funny. And we have some more of these round jumpers here on the sides as well, so we can place some other minifigures here too. This is really good for play, I think. On both sides we have these little cables that connect the main dojo to these side platforms, and we can have our climber ninja hang onto there with their little hooks, and they slide down quite funnily. The same thing of course also works on the other side. Let's move on to the first floor. In the very front we of course have the massive wolf head, which I think is a really nice build. I like how this area around the eyes looks here especially. The ears have a little bit of wiggle room, but you can't really pose them that much. And I'm also a really big fan of how this curvature is built here. We of course have the little teeth here in the front, and in the mouth we have this big boulder. So what you want to do is you can pull down on the Gong of Shattering, and then the boulder rolls out of the wolf head. And then we can get a better look at the wolf head without the boulder. I think this looks a bit nicer. The upper part of the wolf head is on a hinge like that, so you can kind of open it and close it, but it's pretty heavy, so sometimes it will just slowly close down on its own. On both sides here we have little balconies, which I think look quite nice. They have these little railing here in the front with some spikes and these pink studs. It kind of ties it together with the look of these trees, and I think it's a really cool design overall. We have a tiny bit of a tree build on this side, as well as one more of these rock steps. And if we move away this lantern here, we once again have a bunch of these jumpers, so we can place a minifigure here on that balcony, even though it's quite narrow. We also have this little bench here, and I was wondering if you can have a minifigure sit there, but you have to pick one without like armor on the back, but you can kinda do it, even though it's a bit finicky. On the other side there's another balcony which is pretty similar. It has the same little railing, a bench, and some of these jumpers. We also do have some more plant life here with this big branch on one side and the smaller one over here, and this one's gonna come up later again. Here's an overall look at this balcony area. We have quite a good amount of playable space here, so you can put a good amount of minifigures here, which is quite nice. Moving on to the back of this area, here's a look at the interior of this dojo. We have two little areas on these sides. It's kind of symmetrical with these tiles and little tables here on the side, as well as this middle area. On the left side we have a little area here with one of these paintings or stained glass windows on the walls. These are some really nice stickers. This one has a wolf mask warrior holding that new blade piece in front of the blood moon. We have a little lantern here in pink, as well as one of these claw pieces. On this table we have what seems to me like some kind of incense, or maybe like just a little blue flame on a candle, as well as a katana in the front. This seems to me like a Cinder area, so we can place him here on this little pillow. The area on the other side is very similar. We have another one of these little stickers here, a claw, and another lantern. And of course the table here has a teapot and a teacup. We once again have a little pillow, so maybe we can place Jordana here. The painting here seems to show a wolf mask warrior being powered up by the gong, I assume, giving him this red energy and red glowing eyes. In the middle we have this little staff weapon. There's also quite a good amount of space here, and I'm not really sure if this staff has like any name or significance. There was nothing in any descriptions or something like that. But maybe it's something the ninja are trying to steal. So we can take it out and we can put Nia here on this jumper, but we can also put her just on this tiled area, and there's a bit of a function here. So you can activate this function with this little branch I mentioned earlier, and then it opens the trapdoor and Nia falls through. And this trapdoor leads right to the spiked area with the little bone we saw earlier, so be careful. And here you can see how that little tree activates the trapdoor. I also wanted to show off how much usable space is in this area. You can actually place all 8 minifigures that come in the set just in this area, and I think it's not even that cramped if you put them all in there together, so I'm really happy just how much space you have basically in the interior and that you can use all your minifigures in the interior. In the back of the roof area, there isn't really that much you can do. This just kind of shows you how everything is built here. We of course have the blood moon at the top here, connected with this transparent bar. We have this little roof section. These are on hinges, so you can kind of move them a little bit, but I don't really see a reason why you would do that. We have another little spike here on the side, as well as these little jumpers on the roof, so you can basically have a minifigure on the lookout. Here from the back you can also see how the blood moon is connected, so you can take it off whenever you maybe want it to be daytime, for example, or you just don't want to have the moon up there. Moving to the front, you can now see that Jordana is on that lookout, and I think it looks really cool how she looks through that little gap here. In this overall area, we of course have a whole bunch of these roof segments on the sides with these big curved spikes coming out. There's this nice magenta stripe going all the way through this area. This is built with some upside down windshield pieces, which I think is a really cool building technique. And in the middle area, there's this sticker tile spelling out the word shadow. Of course, on the sides we have these little red lanterns that you can kind of wobble around a bit, and we have these little blue torches or maybe burnt down candles here on top. In the middle we also have the magic mallet, which can be used by a minifigure, so we can just take this out quite easily and give it to a figure. Finally, on the very top we have the wonderful blood moon. This is a really nicely printed dish piece with one round black tile in the middle. And this just looks super cool. It's a super detailed print, and I just love that they added it in general. It's just such a nice addition to set the mood of this environment. Underneath, of course, there's the final roof segment with one of more of these curved spike parts and a really nicely textured roof. Finally, I also wanted to show off how it could look if you expanded the whole area around the dojo, because there's a lot of these little side scenery builds in some of the other Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2 sets, like this little tree from the Sora's Technic, the little Gong of Shattering stand from the Eagle the Master Dragon set. From Aaron's Battle Mech we have this little shrine build, and we also have this little plant thing from the Source Dragon Battle set over here maybe. That way we can maybe just kind of extend this whole area, add a bit more scenery to it all around, and I think it looks quite nice all together. We of course get a whole bunch of spare pieces in the set. There's some good stuff here like some claws and a bunch of katanas. And we of course have a brick separator here. We have one sticker sheet. There are quite some stickers, but I don't think it's that crazy for a set this size in my opinion. And we have one big instruction booklet with some ads for other sets in the back. This set also came with plastic bags in my copy. Alright, I want to give you my final thoughts and opinions about the set, and just generally, as you can already see, this is kind of your classic big scale Ninjago playset. It reminds me personally a lot of the Fire Temple or the Dragon Pit and sets like that. So a big set with lots of space for minifigures, mainly built for play. And yeah, people are saying this is very flat, and that is kind of true. So I think this is more of a play set where that being flat allows you to access all the interior and all the little details and little traps and functions easier. But it doesn't really have a fully covered around exterior. That doesn't mean though that it looks bad personally. I think it's had a really cool design, and I think that comes from it being a villain-centric set that allows it to be a very different color scheme, a very different design than your classic Ninjago temple builds we usually get. And I really like that magenta dark blue combo with those little trees. It gives it a very unique vibe, very unique look. There's a lot of play opportunity here, a lot of cool functions, especially of course also the little fighting arena. That's a really fun function. So I think there's a lot there you can do, and I think as a kid I could spend a lot of time with this set. I also generally want to say I really like the minifigures in this set, specifically the ninja. These new climber suits, I really like the printing, I really like the armor piece. I'm not the biggest fan of the hoods and masks, but I guess all the new stuff they introduced for these suits is really good. Overall, this set has 1,190 pieces, goes for $120, and I think compared to other LEGO sets, that's not a bad price. It's pretty big, there's a good amount of pieces, and the building experience is a lot of fun. It's very diverse. One side is here more tree, more organic, the other side more rock, so it's not as repetitive as it could be. And I think you're gonna get a lot of good building time, a lot of good building fun, and you can do a lot with the set once it's done because it's very accessible and has a lot of little functions, little features, little details. Thank you all so much for watching my review of this set. Big thank you to the LEGO Ambassador Network for sending us this set along with the others. And I hope you tune in next time for the next Ninjago Dragons Rising set review here on Keep the Peace. See ya!